All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. We're going to look at four on this one. We'll look at BBAI, quickly look at SOUN. I'll take a good look at SOFI, and then we got to talk about KULR. I feel a lot has happened since the last time I covered that one. BBAI, what more can we say except volume, 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 volume? My goodness. All right, even in just this view, from April till today, we were down here. Look in the box, 25 million. This one might even be lower. This was under. This was a 19 million share day. We have more than 10x'd it, and we're now pushing 300 million shares on the exact same 7-hour trading day, right? When volume is king, volume is queen for the ladies watching this. And when your volume can do that, I'm telling you, there are stocks I cover, there are stocks I trade that will never get 300 million shares in an entire month of trading, let alone a full week of trading, and never in a single day. And I can go through so many tickers. Just look at Tesla. Tesla is one of the biggest stocks in the world. All it could do was 88 million shares in a day, right? Obviously, the valuations are different and this and that, but I'm telling you, volume matters a lot. And when you're getting almost 3x the volume of a stock like Tesla, things just happen from there. Obviously, we're over all the moving averages. We've been hunting that 100 moving average break for months and months and weeks, and boom, right? So a lot going on here. I could probably do 30 minutes just on this one, right? The opposite is Soundhound. The opposite is when you're pushing 200 million shares and then you lose almost 90%, almost 80%, and you're down here at 40, right? Like, that is a significant drop in volume. It will bring a significant drop in price. And my goodness, look at all these moving averages so close. We were talking about the same hunt, right? BBAI was all about that 100 moving average right there. Soundhound is all about that same 100 moving average. There is a clear difference between the two. I'll talk about it shortly. Hopefully you see it before I say it in a couple minutes, right? SOFI, the exact same 100 moving average hunt. Didn't happen, didn't happen, didn't happen, didn't happen, didn't happen. It finally happened. It went to our line. We're now over our line. And all we can start thinking about is the next line, right? So MACD's looking good and positive. RSI is actually still pretty healthy. And volume is now actually starting to remind me of this right here, right? A couple of good days, it's starting to pop. And then one good one, a couple of good days, it's starting to go. Let's see what happens, right? And when's this earnings date? It's not close, right? Yeah, we still got a month till earnings, right? So there should be some good stuff to like. And I think here is where I'll say, look, NASDAQ is looking good, all right? S&P 500 is looking good. Dow Jones is looking good, all right? 100% there's a brand new tariff headline, right? So I'm very, very vigilant of what that does on Monday. But at the bare minimum, look, it gave us a scary 2 hours on Friday, but then the last one said, hey, it's all good, right? So we need more than just a single candle, don't get me wrong, right? And that's what I'm saying. I need Monday to confirm, but yeah, the news came, the news went, and hey, I have so many Canadian viewers. There's actually more chart reader hats in Canada than there are US, all right? But I think I'm more concerned about Asian tariffs than Canadian tariffs, right? I know there's a lot of important things that come from our neighbors in the north, but most of the stuff I buy comes from Asia. And I think I care way more about what happens with Vietnam, way more what happens with China, way more what happens with those countries that are, just I think more important to our daily life of buying, right? Again, I think we bring a lot of wood from, I think lumber is a big thing from Canada. Buildings start with wood, right? So I'm not trying to downplay it, but I'm at least looking at a scary 2 hours that quickly erased on the last one. Not a bad setup for the Monday one, right? So let's just see how it does, okay? I put that there because look, KULR in a little bit of a way is how do I say this? So KULR has had some things that I don't like, all right? Earnings was right here. Clearly, we've gone on a pretty bad downtrend, and clearly there was a really hard gap down the next day after earnings. From there, we're now below all the moving averages, and hey, there's nothing I hate more than a reverse split. All right, so I know a lot of people are really into this stock, and you know me. I'm not here to be a fanboy. I talk about the good and I talk about the bad, right? Friday was good. I think that's an easy thing to say. I mean, 20% on a day is fantastic, right? I'm also seeing after hours continue to go on up and we're now over it, right? But hey, what I care about is regular hours. And basically we're at the line, right? We closed at 625. The 8 moving average was 622. I for sure see the gap right there. So yeah, we are over the line, but I need a little bit more to believe. But hey, you break the 8, you can go to the 20. If you can go from 6 something all the way up to almost 8, that's a 33% run right there, right? So I'm watching this. I'm really watching to see how much we can get into this candle. And then from there, I'll be talking about the 20 moving average, right? But that 33% that I'm hunting aside, yo, reverse splits are death. They really, really are in my eyes, and I don't like seeing that. I really didn't even know it happened until I think yesterday, the day before, and then we'll see what comes from that. All right, so I think this is a good group. Clearly, a decent amount of volume right now. The indices are calm, right? All three of them are over on the daily. All three are actually over on the weekly too. So I mean, this is a nice place to attack, and especially these first ones that are a little extra tech heavy with good volume, right? So before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. Oops. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So BBAI, I can't stress it enough. I've been saying it the last couple of videos. We are here to stock a stock, all right? It's spelled differently, but said the same. It's a beautiful little phrase. I for sure did not make that up. I'm not trying to seem like I'm that clever, but like the lion hunting in the jungle, right? Every stock is playable when the technicals say so. And I mean, we've been hunting this thing for a while. I know every single one of these weeks, if I had to guess, I made at least one BBAI video that said, hey, once we break this 100, it's gonna go. Couldn't do it, 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 finally did it, right? So you gotta be patient. You got, and that's a hard thing for someone like me to say. I'm a short-term guy. I very much am throwing so many tickers every single day, and I love it, right? Keep throwing me your viewer requests, right? I sincerely love it, right? But it's hard to keep looking at a stock for even someone like me, right? So that's a big thing to work on. And just because you're not trading it, just because you have no money in it, doesn't mean you can't. You need to look at it still, right? And BBAI, I'm telling you, I was looking at this thing, I think almost before the ones I actually had my money in. You know what I mean? And from here, look, the technicals are starting to do the work. And again, I'm going to say it. I said it in the opening thoughts. I got to say it again. This is next level volume. All right. Let alone the numbers. We'll talk about the numbers shortly. That is as sustainable as growth gets, right? That almost looks like a perfect 45-degree slope right there. Maybe even less, right? That's like a nice, like 30 or something, right? We're not seeing the crazy pumps that generally dump, right? We're seeing the nice sustain. It gets even better just sustained up here. I mean, this is beautiful growth, let alone how significantly higher it is than the average we're expecting, right? Let alone the fact that it's happening with all of us, or with us over all the moving averages, with the MACD finally diverging and taking on up, with the RSI that's been flat and flat and flat starting to go up, and the fact that we basically went from 4 something to 6, and this RSI didn't go from a crazy to like from like low here to a 90, right? It actually very calmly, very stabilized. It was a good little move here, and really there's a potential for more. There really, really is, right? And again, a lot of my thoughts are, as long as the S&P 500 keeps going, as long as NASDAQ, especially since BBAI is a tech play, and I'm seeing green over red on the MACD, I'm seeing still a pretty healthy RSI right there, right? Nice volume on Friday as well, kind of the best volume in a bit outside of this little random day right here, right? So NASDAQ's looking good. S&P 500's looking good. That has to make me believe BBAI is going to look good, right? There was definitely some news about Canadian tariffs. I don't know if that matters here, right? I think there's going to be a little bit of a, maybe a market concern. I use that maybe loosely, actually, right? Let me just show it real quick, because I know I said it on the weed stocks. Let's just look at the S&P 500. So Trump definitely said Canada talks ended. There's going to be new tariffs. We had a crazy, scary 2 hours right there, right? I'm looking at the hourly on the S&P 500 on Friday. Scary 2 hours. That's not a good 2 hours right there. That's a good way to end it and recover and tell me let's go into Monday, right? So I don't know how worried I am unless the company itself is Canadian, or it's like, oh, my cat wants to. What are you trying to do? Hey, you trying to get out? Let's get you out. I did. I'm so sorry about that. So as long as those continue, at this point, my next expectation is going to be up here at basically 7. What's 50% candle? Maybe 625 is gonna be something. Put that in your back pocket, but really that is the next best line, right? Not quite the bottom of this, not quite the top of that. I don't know if it does anything else back here. Oh, it actually does some interest. Yeah, that's a big line for sure. That's the line. I don't think 620. Let me actually see. What does 625 do? I have to do it right here. Are you 625? You're 650. Yeah, I think this one matters more than 625. So my next target up is there. Look, obviously the easy thing to say is it's going to be bullish over 550. Really, I think I would even say it's bullish over 530. All right. I don't want to drop to 530. That's basically a 10% loss, right? You're basically going to lose 50 cents, right? But at least hold 50% of today's candle and I'll be okay. You know what I mean? So, where are we on the weekly? This was the first week we got over all the moving averages on the weekly, right? That same 100 moving average test on the daily was the 20 moving average on the weekly. And that's a beautiful candle right there, right? What's your 50%? Look, the weekly is saying it might come to 490, basically a flat 5. I think for me, I'm going to use these daily numbers. I'm going to say don't lose 530. I would start to get a little worried if we lost 530, but really I don't think we're going to go below 530 because hey, that 8 moving average, if I had to guess, is probably going to come to 5, and then the next day it'll probably, I think 530 is going to be the lowest I'll take. But again, what I'm taking from the weekly is this is the first one. Oh, you break all 5 on the daily, you fly. You break all 5 on the weekly, you fly. You break all 5 on both and you go. You know what I mean? So that's a nice MACD. That's a nice RSI. This volume this is by far, this is double the biggest week ever. Right? This is an unprecedented week, and this is where volume. I'm telling you, there are stocks I trade that will. How much? What was the weekly? In a week, we got 1.3 billion shares traded. I'm telling you, I rarely see the billion number on the weekly, let alone on the monthly. And I rarely look at the monthly, right? So this is just crazy volume. I've been talking about this for 14 minutes. I'm probably going to make this its own video right here because I'm telling you, like, there's some craziness going on right here. And again, the loser of it, and I hate using that word. I don't want to necessarily use that word, but in my opinion, SoundHound is the one that took the biggest hit. The volume had to come from somewhere, right? It's not like all of a sudden 300 million new traders started an account and came here, right? This volume was somewhere else. It clearly wasn't here in January, right? It clearly was, and all of a sudden it is, right? The problem is it looks like it was here and they've all left and they haven't come back, right? You hear me say volume is king, volume is queen for the ladies. Like that there's everything has an up and a down. A coin has two sides, and that sentence has two sides. When volume is your friend, it doesn't even matter what is said about the company, and it doesn't matter what news comes out or what fake loss. I'm telling you, volume heals all. When volume goes away, oh man, that's when things get really tough. And heavy is the crown, right? That's a very common phrase. And when you're the volume king and someone takes that crown, bad things happen. In this case, the price hit it, right? Again, we've been covering this since in the twos, right? So there are still people that are like 4, almost 5x on the stock and laughing as I'm saying bad things are happening, right? It's all perspective. But yeah, that's this is the one that took the hit from it. And believe me, that same, I said this in the opening thoughts. I don't know, just in case I do end the chapter here. I don't think I am. I think I'm going to keep going. But look, this 100 moving average is a lot harder because all the other moving averages are so close. This is basically a cluster of all 5. BBAI was able to attack it. Yeah, you can kind of say it's a cluster, but really, these ones are down here with a good spacing, and all that's actually happening is the 8 and the 20 are rising. So I'm actually ignoring these two, and I'm just seeing it test the 100 up here with the next scary line basically down here. Like, that's still all a good channel right there, right? Let me do it like this. What was I looking right here? That was my last screenshot. Look, let's do it like this. All of this, that's good trading because I'm not, the 8 and the 20 are my friend, right? It's taking me up, taking me up. The only thing I'm worried about is coming back down to this red line, and there's a good amount of space there, right? I can attack, and it's all good, not that cluster. SoundHound, I mean, I'm in the lines, and actually, if you look at it, the 8 and the 20 are actually going down, right? While the other one, we're going up. So it's not the same setup. It's obviously the same, give me that line to break, right? But man, this one's been tough, and obviously the volume just hasn't been doing it, right? Let alone the fact that it's almost 90% lower, right? Give or take. It's not even over the 50-day line, right? So it's tough to compare the two. It is back of my head, man. I'm telling you, I remember when SoundHound was on a Palantir level, and BBAI was getting discussed with like Guard Force and Bullfrog, right? And we were wondering which of those were gonna jump out and become the next one, right? So tables flip quickly, and to me, it really is why I love technical analysis so much, right? It helps me not fall in love. And I'm telling you, the most money I lost it was on stocks that I just was too in love with. My opinions are good, and I'm not gonna pick a wrong ticker, and I would just never sell. And it's just, you can't fall in love. And when the lines change, when the volumes change, it's easy to say, oh man, I think there's a shift happening. You know what I mean? So no, I think I'm gonna end it here, and then I'll make another video. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.